Okay, so you know it's 2025, right? Your wrist is buzzing all the time with notifications, and then the market, it's like a roller coaster nobody told you were going to ride. And then there's AI, like it's suddenly in every single conversation, plus that pressure to do more, worry more, be more. Ever kind of stop and think if all that noise, that constant inner dialogue is actually like working against you when it comes to success and peace? That's what we're going to dive into today. And we think we might have found an antidote, something from Eckhart Tolle that feels so relevant right now.
Yeah, forget just like skimming the power of now. This is more like taking the most useful stuff from practicing the power of now and fine-tuning it just for you.
Yeah.
Like if you're an entrepreneur in choppy waters or leading a team through all this uncertainty, or just someone ambitious trying to grow amid all the craziness of 2025, in this world of distractions, presence isn't just a nice thing to have. It's a real advantage for getting things done and feeling good.
And the timing is just perfect, right? We're
Yeah.
drowning in distractions and things are changing faster and faster. Being present, being able to cut through that noise, it's not just a skill anymore. It's like a necessity. It's how you build real success and keep your sanity. So we're going to break down how to use the power of now to make better decisions, ditch that crazy stress, and find more creative energy and resilience. Let's jump in.
So let's start with presence. Tolle thought that a lot of our suffering and the reason we don't get things done as well as we could is because our minds are stuck, either replaying the past or stressing about the future. He called this psychological time. And it takes us out of the only reality we really have, which is the present moment. So his solution is conscious presence, which means being aware of what's happening right now without judging it.
But that feels so hard in 2025, doesn't it? I mean, we're constantly bombarded with digital stuff.
Mhm.
Our inboxes are overflowing with AI-generated content. Then there's social media and Slack and the 24/7 news. It's like an attack on our focus. And when our attention is all over the place, stuck in the past or worrying about the future, how can we possibly focus on what we need to do now? How can we think strategically or even have decent conversations with people? It's exhausting. It makes us feel overwhelmed. We make dumb decisions we regret and we burn out. I bet most of us have been there so worried about some future deadline that we can't even be productive today.
Exactly. So how do we actually cultivate presence? Well, Tolle has some really practical techniques, kind of like a mental workout. The first one is becoming the watcher.
Yeah, the watcher, it sounds a bit out there, but it's pretty simple. Tully says just notice that voice in your head, that constant stream of thoughts and opinions and judgments and worries. Don't try to make it stop, just listen to it. See if there are any patterns, like what anxieties keep coming up. Think of it like watching clouds, you just observe them without trying to change them. Tully said, don't identify with the thinker. You know, a good way to practice this in 2025 is to do it in short bursts throughout your day, like while you're waiting for a video call or standing in line at the store or even on your commute. Just tune in for a minute and see what your mind is doing.
The key is to not judge. You're not saying the thoughts are good or bad, right or wrong. You're just noticing them. This creates a little bit of distance between you and your thoughts, so you can start to realize that you are not your thoughts. Another way to get into the present moment is what Tolle calls anchoring in your senses.
Oh, I really like this one. It's so simple and direct. Like if you feel that overwhelm coming on or you're stuck in the past or worrying about the future, just shift your attention to what you're experiencing through your senses right now. What do you see? Like the actual colors and shapes around you, the way the light is hitting things. What sounds do you hear near and far? What do you feel physically in this moment? Maybe are the feel of your clothes or the pressure of your body in the chair, the temperature of the air. It's like hitting a reset button. It brings you back to the present. And this is useful not just when you're stressed, but also during those transitions between tasks when your mind wants to wander off.
Exactly. It brings you right back to the now.
Yeah.
Another technique Tully recommends is conscious breathing breaks.
This one might seem too easy, but it's powerful. Set a timer a few times a day, just for like 2 minutes. And during those 2 minutes, all you do is focus on your breath, the inhale, the exhale, the rise and fall of your chest. You don't need to change your breathing, just observe it. It's amazing how this simple thing can ground you in your body and create these little pockets of calm in all that mental activity. It's like a mini vacation for your mind.
And to see how these can really make a difference, let's go back to that startup founder dealing with confusing market data about a new AI feature. Instead of getting swept up in worrying about competition or failing, what if they took a moment to watch their thoughts? Like, oh, these are just scary thoughts. That's all they are. And then they could tune into their senses. What do they see and hear and feel right now? And then a few conscious breaths. This creates a space for them, a space to step back from the emotion and look at the data with a calmer, clearer mind. And that could lead to a much better decision.
It's amazing how much power there is in that tiny space between what happens and how we react. So we've talked about mastering presence, but what about those deeper, more ingrained emotions? That's where Tolle's idea of the pain body comes in.
This is a really interesting one. Tolle says the pain body is all the emotional pain from our past that we carry around with us. It's like an energy field. Sometimes it's quiet, but when something triggers it, it can cause huge reactions. You might get really angry or anxious or sad, way more than the situation calls for. And the thing about the pain body is that it actually gets stronger when we're negative and unconscious. It's like an old injury that flares up when you touch it. The touch could be anything stressful, a mean comment, or even just a familiar feeling.
And that's so true in 2025, right? There's so much going on. The market is volatile. People are worried about AI taking their jobs. Remote teams are hard to manage, and projects can fail. All of these can trigger the pain body. Like you might get a critical email or feel like someone dissed you in a meeting and suddenly you're furious. It feels way bigger than it should. It's like those old hurts are coming back to life. But the most important thing is to recognize what's happening, to understand that your reaction might not just be about what's happening now, but also about all that pain from your past.
Exactly. So how do we deal with the pain body, especially in the craziness of 2025? Tolle has a three-step plan. Step one is recognize the signs.
It's all about being really aware of how you feel. As soon as you notice yourself feeling unhappy, like if you get irritable or impatient or defensive, or you feel gloomy or like you want drama, that might be the pain body waking up. Tolle says that just being aware of this is the first step to freedom. Don't push the feelings away or distract yourself. Just stop and acknowledge them. Say to yourself, okay, I'm feeling different right now.
Once you've noticed the shift, step two is shift your attention to the feeling itself. This takes some effort. Instead of getting caught up in the story your mind is creating, like they're always trying to make me look bad or
Yeah.
this is going to ruin everything,
Yeah.
you focus on how the emotion feels in your body.
Yeah.
Where do you feel it the most? Is your chest tight? Is there a knot in your stomach? Are you flushed? Just observe the physical feeling without judging it, without trying to figure it out. Be the watcher, like you said before.
And then step 3 is don't fuel it. The pain body wants you to keep thinking about the bad thing, to blame people, to imagine the worst. So as soon as you catch yourself doing that, stop and gently bring your attention back to the feeling in your body or to your breath or to the present moment. It's like you're cutting off its food supply.
Let's say an entrepreneur put tons of work into a pitch deck, and then they get really harsh feedback. Their first instinct might be anger. That's the pain body. If they react right away, they might send an angry email and ruin a relationship. But if they can pause, notice the anger, okay, I know this feeling, and then pay attention to how it feels in their body. Maybe their jaw is clenched or their heart is racing and they take a few breaths. Just observing the feeling without thinking about how unfair the feedback is, it gives them a chance to choose a better response. Maybe they can ask for clarification or use the feedback to improve their pitch.
It's about breaking that automatic pattern of reacting in a way that hurts us. So we've covered presence and dealing with emotions. But what about things that are completely out of our control? That's where Tolle's idea of surrender comes in.
Right, surrender. This one can be confusing. Totally doesn't mean giving up on your goals or being passive. He means accepting what's happening right now, accepting what is without fighting it in your mind.
Yeah.
Because that internal struggle, that mental no, that's what causes so much suffering. When you surrender, you can see things clearly and take action from a place of reality.
And in 2025, we face these what is moments all the time. Maybe a social media platform changes its algorithm and messes up your marketing plan, or there's a problem with your supply chain, or a competitor comes out with a similar product using some new AI, or the government makes new rules for your industry. It's natural to resist these things mentally, to think, this shouldn't be happening, this is so unfair. But Tolle says that just wastes energy and makes it harder to think straight. When we surrender, we can acknowledge what's happening without all the negativity, and then we can focus on what needs to be done.
So how do we surrender in everyday life? Tolle has some steps for us. First, acknowledge resistance.
This means noticing when you say no in your head when something bad happens. Pay attention to those complaining thoughts, the urge to blame someone, the frustration. Just observe them without being hard on yourself.
Step two is focus on the moment, not the story. Tolle says surrendering doesn't mean you have to like the situation. You might hate those new shipping costs and you'll probably try to do something about them. But in the moment when you find out, can you accept that it's happening without immediately getting lost in thoughts about how unfair it is or how it's going to ruin you? Ask yourself, what's actually wrong right now in this moment? A lot of our suffering comes from the story we tell ourselves about the event, not the event itself.
And step 3 is to ask, what can I do now? Once you've accepted what's happening, you can focus on what you can actually do, even if it's something small. So, with the shipping costs, after acknowledging the frustration and accepting that the prices are higher now, you can start looking for other shipping companies or adjust your prices. And if there's nothing you can do externally, then surrender means continuing to accept the moment with a clear mind. This isn't giving up, it's about choosing not to resist what you can't change.
Right, it's about meeting reality head on instead of fighting it in your mind. That just wastes energy that you could use to take action. Okay, we've covered presence, dealing with emotions, and surrender. The last thing from Tolle that we'll talk about is rooting in the inner body.
This one is really interesting, and I think people don't pay enough attention to it. Tolle says it's important to connect with what he calls the inner body, that feeling of being alive, of energy that's always there inside you. He says this is a great way to anchor yourself in the present moment and get away from all the thoughts in your head.
And in 2025, we spend so much time in the digital world, looking at screens and lost in our thoughts, that we can easily lose touch with our bodies. This can lead to feeling tired, burned out, anxious, and even disconnected from our intuition. When we connect with our inner body, we feel grounded, which helps us stay calm, focus on our work, and even access our creativity and intuition, which are so important in today's world.
So, how do we connect with our inner body when we're so busy? Tolle has some simple but powerful techniques that we can easily use. The first one is simple sensory check-ins.
You can do this throughout the day. Just take a moment to focus on your hands. What do you feel? Maybe a tingling, warmth, sense of energy. Then shift your attention to your feet and feel the same thing. Then try to feel both your hands and feet at the same time. It's a quick way to bring your attention back to your body and out of your head.
Another technique is body scan flooding. This takes a few minutes. Close your eyes and slowly bring your attention to different parts of your body, starting with your feet and moving up to your head. As you focus on each part, try to really feel the energy inside. It's like shining a light on each area.
After you've scanned your whole body, try to feel all that energy as one connected whole. Just sit quietly, breathe gently, and sense the feeling of aliveness throughout your entire being. It might take some practice, but it's a powerful way to feel grounded and centered.
Remember that project manager who was feeling overwhelmed? Before their big meeting, they could close their eyes and feel the energy in their hands, then their feet, and then their whole body. It would help them clear their head and go into the meeting feeling more present and focused.
Exactly. These techniques aren't about reaching some special state. They're about bringing you back to the reality of your being right here, right now. And that's where your true power is.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into how to use Eckhart Tolle's ideas in 2025, I think the biggest takeaway is this. It's not about avoiding challenges, it's about changing how we relate to them. And the most important change you can make is to choose to be present instead of getting lost in your thoughts.
And by actually using these techniques in your life, by watching the thinker, by working with the pain body, by surrendering, and by connecting with your inner body, you stop being someone who just reacts to things and you become someone who creates their own experience. And as we've talked about, this isn't just about feeling calmer. It's about finding flow in your work, being resilient when things are tough, and having the clarity to make good decisions, which are all essential for success and happiness in today's world. Real power isn't about controlling the future. It's about living fully in the now.
Absolutely. If these tips were helpful and you think using them could make a difference in your life in 2025, please do us a huge favor and hit that like button. It really helps us reach more people who could benefit from this.
And we want to make this practical. So in the comments below, tell us which practice you're going to focus on this week. Will you be watching the thinker, anchoring in your senses, or feeling your inner body? Let's support each other and hold each other accountable.
And if you want to hear more deep dives into books and strategies that can help you thrive in 2025 and beyond, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. You won't want to miss these valuable insights that could shape your future success. Thanks so much for joining us today. See you next time.